Even when the food crisis doesn't make the headlines, it's clear that the world's poorer countries suffer from food scarcity the most. But advanced technology in the sky can help on the ground. By collecting data on climate, vegetation and humidity, ESA's Earth observation satellites give a better understanding of the conditions that affect crops and grazing lands, both vital components in agricultural production. Sitting at an altitude of more than 2,000 meters is the capital of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. This is the operational center of the United Nations' Food and Agriculture Organization for the whole of Eastern Africa.
In Ethiopia, which is the very largest country here, it's the second largest country in Africa, has had about 4 successive years of increasing production of cereals. And therefore there's a reason to show that things can work.
But the production is fragile, and with the failure of the short rains, which account for 15% of grain in the country, the total for the whole sub-region is suffering. Since 1986, the price of basic food commodities have gone up by 56%, hitting one of the most fragile countries head-on. Pack animals and cattle are among the main resources for the population. Satellite imagery has the potential to assist in identifying possible pasture land even at the end of the dry season. Knowledge of the weather is also vital. Previously, the nomads had to rely on experience to survive in this sometimes hostile environment, but now meteorological data from satellites can help predict conditions. Whether it's droughts, floods, swarms of locusts or parasitic plants, they all make for a fragile ecosystem. But there's an unseen eye keeping constant watch over Africa and indeed other continents from way above their heads: satellites. And Europe is contributing with Envisat, the huge Earth observation satellite from the European Space Agency. At the Food and Agriculture Organization's headquarters in Rome, they use satellite data to follow coverage of vegetation and weather conditions almost in real time. This gives scientists a valuable forecasting tool and, to some degree, an early warning system.
Satellites are really a beginning of a very long chain of events that take place from the time that the satellite sees that a drought is starting, that there's dry vegetation, there's a lack of rainfall.
Just outside Rome in Frascati, data from different ESA satellites converge at the Center for Earth Observation, ESRIN. The dish you see behind me is a receiver for the European satellite Artemis, which relays data from an instrument called MERIS on board the Earth observation satellite Envisat. This takes pictures of global vegetation every 2 or 3 days. By analysing these images, we can create a map showing how the ground is covered on a scale never before achieved. This map provides the Food and Agriculture Organization and the UN Environment Programme with a precise and up-to-date view of global vegetation coverage. By comparing the maps chronologically, scientists can study the development of ground coverage, humidity and the climate. This data can then be used to create models for more accurate forecasting. Africa needs to feed an ever-expanding population. In Ethiopia, the population was 27 million in 1970. It's 80 million today, and it's reckoned to become 120 million in 15 years. In a country with a high dependency on agriculture and pastoral grazing, satellite data that helps in the prediction of conditions becomes an invaluable tool in the fight against food scarcity.